listen. It's good. You've done it again. You tuned your internet radio to KCNM episode 228. Been doing this a long time.
Long time.
My name is Matt Silverman, joined as always by Colette Bennett. She's right here next to me. Hello.
Hello.
She's waving. She's the audio listener. She's waving. We're on video, and you can see this on youtube.com/@Colette and Matt, I think is the YouTube channel.
I think that's right. But you can also just listen to it in your podcast apps like you probably did for the first, 200 and something episodes.
I subscribe to a lot of like podcast industry newsletters and such just to be aware of how Joe Rogan is doing and whatnot. Speaking of, when I look at the charts, the Daily from the New York Times is beating Joe Rogan every single week now.
That's great. I like that.
He used to be the number one for all the things, and now he is not, and that's cool to see. I like that in my inbox. But the reason I'm saying this is because there is a lot of hand wringing and studies and surveys of like, are video podcasts really that popular? Like, are they as big as we think they are? And the answer is yes, they are. But I think overall, across the entire podcast landscape, audio only is still the preferred consumption habit, even though video discovery of podcasts is much higher than audio consumption. And I think my takeaway is that video is still important because people need to find you on YouTube and TikTok and whatever you are doing. Mm-hmm. But once they settle into what you are doing, they are putting you on in their earbuds while driving or washing dishes. And that's my preferred way. So however you're listening or watching this podcast, we welcome you. Hello.
We appreciate you.
What's new?
Oh boy, there's a lot new this week. A lot new. So much new.
In your life or in the world?
Oh, in my life, there's nothing new. The highlight of my day today was taking pictures of my cats watching leaves falling outside of the outside. So I sit, listeners, my at-home office is situated in one of those, like, some houses, when you walk in, they have these two little rooms off to the side before you get to like the back part of the house. And like one's supposed to be like a dining room and then one's supposed to be like a drawing room or something. Like this is kind of an old fashioned.
Totally. Don't you have I've never been to your house, but we've talked about it when you got it. Don't you have a fireplace in the center of your living room?
Yeah, it's like a stripe behind me, but
which is so cool.
Yeah, I like it. But I just figured like, well, what else would this room be other than like a little reading room, if not an office? So I just decided to make it my office, but it's like a view straight out of the front of the house, right? Yeah. So I can like, see Amazon delivering packages.
Which is really nice. That's a nice.
Yeah.
It's just nice to look out at your neighborhood and just feel the presence of things happening, people coming and going. Yeah.
It is. All my old offices were in like additional bedrooms.
Right.
And I like this so much more because
this is where I'm at a ground floor bedroom and I'm just in a corner and I can kind of see some bushes outside and that's all I got.
And that's it. Right. Yeah. It's a nice plus. But so anyway, I had the window open today as I do every day. And the leaves were literally like, I felt like I was looking out into a Stardew like fall scene. Like the leaves were perfectly falling,
like fluttering down.
Yeah, perfectly. And I was just like, man, it's so pretty out there. And then I heard, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, that's gotta be a cat. And so I looked down and my windows at the front go all the way to the floor. And
nice.
I look down under my desk and like right at cat level are two cats and they're looking at the leaves and making those little noises. I was like, oh my God, this is so cute. And so
there is some sort of perking up the ears hunter instinct being like, yo, something moved out there. What's going on out there?
They were into it. It was really cute. And I was like, that's adorable. But it would have been a great day. Like if it happens again tomorrow, it'd be a great day to like go sit outside with your coffee or your tea and just like watch the leaves fall. It was really pretty. So yeah, but no, that's the newest and biggest thing that's happened in my life this whole week.
This is thrilling and exciting. Actually, I envy you. I think I wish I could have my windows open in late November.
But
It's
is it
actually
pretty cold out there already?
today is quite mild and lovely, but it is full on winter here. I have officially transitioned from my light jacket to my winter coat and
Okay.
past the point of no. I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods, but there's a phase where you're like, it's warm. No, that's winter. Oh, it's really windy. I'm switching coats. And now I've officially crossed over
You're
into
solidly in
full
the
zip up, suit up, hood up.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, the South is different. It was 72 today. So yes, not only do I
banging
not
on
have
my
the heavy
desk.
coat out, but I didn't even have the light coat out. Like I wouldn't even need this flannel, but it's a little cooler in the house.
Right.
But we do have a thunderstorm coming tonight and tomorrow morning, and then we're going to go down a little bit. But I kind of relish this time now, to be honest, like the November, December before it decides to get really cold.
It sounds lovely where you are.
It's nice because I mean, once it gets really cold, it's just. Well,
really,
we all know. We've been
cold.
through many years of this, of talking about
I'm making
this.
air quotes around really cold in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Really? Yeah. Hey, look, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was 20. And we were like, wow, this is like unseasonably cold for us for this time. But it was like a cold snap. So it came and went, 4 or 5 days. But I was like, ooh, I do not like this preview. So...
Nope. Cancel all winter. Well, that's been our show. Talking about weather. No, the news is happening in the world of video games.
Where to begin? There's so much news.
There's a lot.
I think we should begin with the Golden Joystick Awards.
Okay.
Because I am repping.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's great.
I 100% got up this morning and I was like, today is the day to wear my Expedition 33 shirt.
Yes, please explain what is on your shirt for audio only listeners.
Yes. So I'm wearing my Expedition 33 shirt today, audio listeners, and I put it on this morning because Claire Obscure Expedition 33 won so many awards at the Golden Joysticks last night. I thought it would win some awards. I guess I thought that there was maybe a possibility that some other games would win too, but apparently the Golden Joystick folks loved this game. So it got Ultimate Game of the Year, Best Storytelling, Best Visual Design, Studio of the Year, Best Supporting Performer, and Best Lead Performer. My only peeve, if there was an award, and I have to look it up, is that I think there should be a best... Actually, wait, let me reread that list.
Mm-hmm.
Best storytelling. Never mind. I was like, I think that the writer deserves an award, but she got one.
Were they nominated for best storytelling or no? They were, but they didn't. But they didn't. Oh, they won it.
They won it.
Okay, yeah, because the big headline is like for every category it was nominated for, it won every category.
It won every category.
I am looking up the Golden Joystick Awards because I'm aware of them, but I didn't quite know the legitimacy is not the right word, but who runs this and is this just PR for the industry, and aren't all award shows just that? They've been going since 1983.
Mm-hmm. They have. Yeah,
and
it's actually one of the older ones. I think maybe people think of the Game Awards more than they think of the Golden Joystick Awards because they, in the US, because we mentally associate the Game Awards with Jeff Keighley and all that.
Game Awards feels very new.
I don't know when the Game Awards started.
But I could be wrong about that.
Well, let's find out. But I was thrilled.
Yep.
Obviously, since it was such a huge game for me. Okay, the Game Awards is December 11th, and that started 10 years ago.
2014. Yeah. So a tiny baby by comparison to the Golden Joystick.
For sure.
And isn't it interesting that the Game Awards have become sort of like this Oscar-level production, whereas the Golden Joystick feels, and I don't know if the Golden Joysticks are broadcast is the wrong word, streamed as a live broadcast, or is it a more behind closed doors kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a good question because I knew it was happening, but I didn't know anywhere to watch it, and I didn't see any place that was like stream the Golden Joysticks here.
Yeah,
But like that will be around for the Game Awards, I know. So
for sure.
I
Yeah.
guess we'll
So
see.
the Golden Joysticks are the Golden Globes, and the Game
I
Awards are the
guess
Oscars. Even though the Game Awards is still very new, they only feel like the Oscars because of the production values and the hype. It's not necessarily
right.
the right analogy.
So I will say though that it's looking good for 33 for the Game Awards too, because it got 12 nominations there, which is the most nominations that any game has ever gotten in any of the years that it's run. So I kind of feel bad for some of the other nominees because I feel like there's some very good games. Like a lot of people were like, man, Kingdom Come got snubbed because, and I was like, well, I heard very good things about Kingdom Come, but unfortunately it came out in a year where you have like an underdog story, right? Like I feel like there's so much more to 33 than just, oh, it's a wonderful game. Oh, the storytelling's great, etc. You have the whole underdog of Sandfall. It's their first studio. The writer, it's her first ever game. And I think all those things go into kind of the recipe of making a legendary story.
And every single thing about the game is extraordinary. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's got a great story, but it's like looks like an Unreal Engine game. No, it's like, oh my God, the art and the vibes and the design, everything is off the charts.
I don't think the battle system's extraordinary. I really don't.
Yes, I agree with you.
After my replay, I was like, I got burned out on it, but I did do a lot of it. So maybe if I revisited it later, I'd take a different, take on that. But overall, I do think that most of the rest is above and beyond what most games offered. So maybe that's what it is. But it was a thrill because I follow Sandfall. I follow the writer, Jennifer Spegbergian. I follow a lot of the actors, and it was really cool to see them because you could tell that these people were winning their first ever awards for something they really cared about. So I loved it. So yeah, it was really just great to see all that happiness.
I'm scrolling through the Wikipedia, and it's very funny not funny. It's interesting to look at the awards from past years, and it seems. So I'm looking at 2005, for example, Golden Joystick Awards. They segmented it by platform. So PlayStation 2 Game of the Year, GameCube Game of the Year, Xbox Game of the Year, PC Game of the Year, Handheld Game of the Year. And then other random categories like Best Film-Based Game, Best Soundtrack, Best Villain, Best Hero. Weird. Yeah, it's just very interesting that they segmented it like that. And I wonder when they stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm answering my own question. They stopped in 2000. Weird. 2007, they created a category called Ultimate Game of the Year, but still segmented out by platform. So you have a platform winner for each category, and then Ultimate is like, I guess, the best picture or whatever you want to call it. Then 08, it seems they just did Ultimate Game of the Year. No, I'm wrong. It's just listed weird. They have Xbox, they have handheld, they have mobile Game of the Year. Anyway, very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much, I guess, and since it's a big production, maybe they are trying to give as many accolades in as many different areas as possible.
I feel like the platform exclusivity was obviously more important,
right?
10 years ago. Now I'm curious. Okay. 2019, they still had PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, PC and mobile Game of the Year. 2020, okay, they still have it. 2021, no, I guess they never stopped doing it until this year.
So it is still there.
2024.
Okay, because I'm looking at the nominations and I don't see those platform sections anymore.
I think Yeah, I'm looking at the list of winners. There are little tables for the winners. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that only in 2024 do they stop giving best game of platform and only do
Interesting.
ultimate game of the year. Console
Hmm.
then but they also okay. Console game of the year, PC game of the year.
Okay.
So I guess
That
they're still separating PC from console.
I guess
Again,
that makes more sense than separating the consoles now
mhm.
because there's so much more availability of things that a few years ago wouldn't have been available on both PC and on a console.
Right. And I would say just get rid of all that. Everything's on everything,
Yeah.
everything, like everything's on the consoles and PC and streaming and mobile. Not, I mean, yeah, I'm being silly, not everything, but it's just a very
Yeah.
interesting thing.
I mean, I think we're probably moving in that direction because if you think about it, even a few years ago, this wasn't the case. So, I
Yeah.
mean, we're moving in some kind of direction. That's for sure.
Jennifer English wins Best Lead Performer as Mael,
Hmm.
which I guess that's probably looped into the
Hmm.
article there, but I did not realize that either. This is great.
She did. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So love seeing big success for them in general. But yeah, we'll see what the Game Awards brings. I've also never been a big person to clock into the awards. I also don't really clock into the Oscars
Yeah.
or the Golden Globes. If I really, really thought a movie was stellar, I'm happy to see it win some awards because I feel like those people work so freaking hard. And I feel the same way about games, you
Yeah.
know? But I'm not like one of those people it's like, oh, it got an Oscar so therefore it's good, or in this case, it got a golden joystick so it's good. But yeah, it's nice to see a game that had so much heart get so much recognition.
Yes. It dovetails into another story we have here, and also this ongoing question, which is like, whoa, should we give awards to art? Like, does that even make sense at a basic level of like, how can you compare, Claire Obscure with, Pokemon Go as the still playing mobile? Like, they're both great games, but they're completely different things. So how do you compare them and award them?
That's such an old argument though,
It's
because
an
if you
old
think
thing,
about
yeah,
how long people have given awards for books, for
yeah.
art mediums, for etc. Like, but I mean, fundamentally, yes, I see your point. Someone somewhere is making a decision that something is Oscar worthy,
is
right?
is
Or
better than it's like
yes,
if you are playing a sport, then one person runs the track 2 seconds faster than the other, and therefore they are the winner quantitatively. But here is the award for the best painting. Like, what? Like that? It doesn't make any sense to me when you fully break it down. And
and
I
yet,
think,
oh,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Sorry.
No, only that it ends up just being like, rah rah, our industry is great and we make great things, and that's what the academy and this stuff can be. Sometimes a big fat trade show at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you have to remember too, it's like I feel like any organization that has like stature attached to it, it's political, right? So it's like when
And
you're
politics.
when you're getting to that top level, it's kind of like it's not to say that, for instance, I don't think the movies that win Oscars deserve Oscars or that they're rigged. Like I just saw Leonardo DiCaprio's new movie. I think it's called One Thing After Another, I
Okay.
think. But I saw it and it was great. And
Hmm.
I watched the whole movie and thought, as soon as it was over, I was like, that's going to win Oscars.
Sure.
Like the feeling of that not only was very good, but it's specifically what the Academy is looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And like, so it's not just quality. I feel like it's also, this is what the Oscars like. And maybe we're not far enough along to be like, this is what the Game Awards like. You know what
Yes.
I mean? But I
A
think
really good
maybe,
recent example of that is I guess it's the Emmys for television, which is now streaming. Andor, which I think is one of the best television shows ever created, was basically snubbed
Mhm.
for most of its categories because
It's
Star Wars.
genre.
It's Pum Pum Star Wars fandom, spaceships. When in fact it is the most compelling extrapolation of fascism and rebellion that we have in media
Yeah,
currently.
but genre always edges things out. Like for
Right.
The Substance to be nominated for major awards, it didn't win, but for Demi Moore to be nominated, partially because she was already a star outside of the horror genre, right? It's
I see.
like that was a huge, huge deal because a horror movie, and that one was extremely gory for reasons
Mm, mm,
normally would never make it
I see.
into, like, it's very rare when horror movies make it into the Academy
Totally.
Awards. So same
Was
thing,
it
right?
was it nominated? Was she just nominated, or was the film nominated
The film
for
was nominated for Best Picture,
Best
which
Picture?
was like,
Great.
wow, amazing. But
That's huge.
so I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't think it would win, but
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, like they act, and I mean, her performance was like really amazing. Like I've seen her in many things over the years, and I still think it was probably the most impressive performance of hers I'd ever seen. I forget who ended up getting the award, but I think she got the
For
Golden Globe.
like best actress.
Yeah, whatever got one last year, I don't know. Or maybe it was this year. No, it was this year because it was 2025 and it happens in what,
Mhm.
January, I think?
Yeah, or January, February. I forget when the period is. I'm
I'll have
I
to look it
find this
up.
conversation very interesting, and I am not a movie guy. Like I enjoy them and I like discussing them, but I'm not like a film historian in any way.
Mhm.
But I do listen to a podcast that is hosted by two comedy writers, and they're screenwriters, and and they watch movies that they hadn't seen before, and which is not a new concept, but I like their perspective on how movies are made and structured. And also, they did a segment where they were watching Oscar-winning movies that one host had never seen before. And what was interesting was that they ended up watching movies that won Oscars in the like 50s and 60s. And this is like, hey, this movie won Best Picture at this time. It was, quote unquote, the best movie made in 1962.
Mhm.
And it sucks by today's standards and by all accounts of it's problematic and it's poorly shot
Oh.
and there's separate discussions about this was made in a time but we have to observe it in its time. But the point he was making is that like, which is similar to yours, I suppose, which is like, hey, there were big blockbuster, fun, crowd-pleasing movies that we all remember from 1972, but the winner of the Best Picture of 1972 is a film you've never heard of, will never watch, kind of sucks, and no one talks about today in 2025. And that is a fascinating dissection of like, what is the point of award shows? They are culturally relevant for a month after they happen, and then we instantly forget why it mattered and who got awards and whatever. And I understand that it changes the lives of actors and filmmakers involved. Like that is an industry thing that is important for those people. All I'm talking about is the cultural
Yeah.
discussion about a piece of art.
No, totally. I mean, this is a conversation that could be an entire podcast on its own,
Right.
for sure. But yeah, you said that was a podcast or that was a show?
It is a podcast. It is actually a paywalled podcast. If there's any comedy improv fans out there, Comedy Bang Bang is hosted by Scott Aukerman, who's a screenwriter, and that's available and free. But they do paywalled podcasts with a lot of their improvisers. So it's
Okay.
him and another improviser playing a character, watching movies that he has never seen, and he has worked in Hollywood for his whole career.
Interesting.
And he's like, what was one of them? I've never seen Sophie's Choice, which is like a landmark Oscar winning, whatever. And he's like, I never saw it. So they bring a comedian guest in and they watch the movie and then they talk
That
about
sounds
it.
really good.
It's great.
I might need to look
It's
that
really
up.
fun and funny.
I am a huge film person. So
It's called Scott Hasn't Seen. It is paywalled, but it is when you listen to all the other shows that these people are on, it is like you're hanging out with them behind the scenes talking about. And he writes for the Oscars, and he writes for he's done.
Wow.
Did you ever see the Between Two Ferns movie?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, it's so
So
good.
Ackerman directed Between Two Ferns.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna
And
have to
that
look
is
this
one of
up.
the funniest fucking movies. We were
So good.
dead. And he,
So good.
he alludes to this in his various shows of like, yeah, we made it and we were so happy with it, and it bombed and the studio forgot about it. And I'm like, but that was the best movie ever. So he's big in the comedy podcast world. And there is a narrative around him that he puts on himself where he's like, if only I had made it in Hollywood, then I wouldn't be doing this podcast. There is some of that. Anyway, it is. I like hearing what they have to say as screenwriters about, and I don't even have to watch a movie. Like I don't even have to watch what they're talking about. I just enjoy it, and it reminded me of your Oscar analogy. Anyway,
that's cool. That's real cool.
Anyway,
Video Game Awards.
Speaking of the Game Awards, I think you put this in, and it led to a really great discussion in our Discord about everyone's favorite Vampire Survivors game, Megabonk.
Mm-hmm. Which it the headline was that it withdrew from the Game Awards. It had a Best Debut Indie nomination, and the first immediate reaction was, "Wait, what? Why? Like that's."
I was worried there was some controversy of like,
right.
Oh God, somebody said or did something awful, so they pulled out, and then it's like we have to stop playing Megabonk. But that is not the case.
Right. So on I don't want to. I think it's a guy. Yeah, John Megabonk. He signed his tweet, John Megabonk. So he said, "I'm withdrawing from the Game Awards. This is November 18th. It's an honor and a dream to be nominated, but I don't think, unfortunately, it qualifies. I've made games in the past under different studio names, so Megabonk is not my debut game. I really appreciate the nomination, support, and votes, but it doesn't feel right in this category. You should vote for another one of the amazing debut titles. They are all amazing games, and that a new Megabonk update is coming soon." Which,
nice.
At first, yay for the update, but second, I think this would have been an incredibly easy thing for him to just look the other way.
Yep.
I mean, I guess maybe possibly someone could have figured it out and then he could have been outed. But for the most part, it just felt to me like he just chose to be really honest, which I thought was really, really cool and made me respect him more as a developer.
Yep.
Because, it's the Game Awards. Like I'm sure, for all our discussion of the Game Awards, if you're a developer, you want to be nominated for a Game
you want to be
Award.
nominated because here's the other thing. It has a huge audience, and I want to watch the Game Awards to see trailers and exclusives of upcoming games to be excited about. I don't care about who wins. So my eyeballs are on the show, and to be nominated and or win is valuable for an indie developer. This is fascinating because what is a debut? What is a studio? And what is an indie game in 2025?
Right. And yes, that was some of what we got into the discussion of. And, someone in the Discord, I'd have to go look it up to find out, but someone said, well, what defines an indie? And, in my mind, I was like, well, when I started listening to indie music in my teens, it was, they were not signed to a label, or in the words of, 90s teens, they did not sell out. They had not sold out yet, which was really funny because, people thought of, for instance, Nirvana as very indie because, Nirvana was signed to Sub Pop and Sub Pop was an indie label, right?
Okay.
But, if you were signed to Columbia or, something like that, you were a sellout.
But like this is directly adjacent to what we're about to talk about, which is like, okay, so Columbia, a corporation that is large, is not indie, and you're selling out. But a smaller corporation that is in another label, Sub Pop, I've never heard of them, but obviously you seem very fluent in this. That is somehow indie, even though they have signed paperwork to engage in business dealings to distribute the music.
They have. And then my thought in the Discord was, well, perhaps in my mind, the line was, well, are there shareholders, right? Are you reporting, is your product that you're making somehow going to be judged or assessed by a shareholder?
Right.
And then I don't know if it was you or someone else that was like, well, okay, so maybe there's no shareholders, but what about the people who, what if people crowdfund the game, or what if there are investors? Because there
Investors,
usually are.
Small studios need investment, and then those people are technically shareholders, but it's not a public company that is like looking at balance sheets going like, where's my profit?
Right. So in the past, in going back to the Sub Pop thing, it was indies versus corporate.
Yeah.
And it was very much like, the indies were going to be free to creatively do more of what they wanted because they did not have shareholders.
Yep.
But the companies that had to report to shareholders were going to do things that corporate people would like.
Right.
And so that was the line, that was the division. But so, perfect question, right? We're all talking about Expedition 33 in there, and they're like, was that an indie? It got a bunch of nominations, both in the Game Awards and in the Golden Joysticks, putting it in indie category.
It's in indie categories, yeah.
Right. But we discussed it, and I said in the Discord, I thought it was what I would think of as a AA, meaning that it's clearly got money behind it. I mean, when you look at it, you're like, that was not a game that someone
money
spent.
and very experienced talent who has worked at AAA.
Right.
Is it a lot of Ubisoft people, former Ubisoft people? Is that right?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly how many, but a significant number. I remember that. And they were not happy with what they were making with Ubisoft. And so they left and they formed Sandfall.
Right.
Because Ubisoft is mostly French folks. It is French. It's actually, is it Canadian? I can't remember.
Canadian.
But it's
I think they're
French Canadian.
headquartered in France. I could be right. Yeah, but yes.
So let's look this up, because I think this is key to the conversation. How is Expedition 33 funded? The studio was founded in 2020. Okay. This was the first game.
Okay.
They got a publisher, which was Kepler Interactive.
Okay.
According to their website and blog posts, they started the team with 6 members. Then they got bigger in 2022, bigger in 2023. Now they're up to like 30-something people. Interesting. Okay. I asked this question myself. This is a commenter, and found a few things. The CEO of Sandfall Interactive, the makers of Clair Obscur, is the son of Richard Broche, a man who runs 4 different companies, each one making huge profits. None of them are companies I know. They all sound French. The whole family are associates of one of the companies, which is called Mert Invest, obviously a trust fund or the French equivalent. The CEO of Sandfall, I cannot say his name properly, and I know it, Galame Brochet, started his career as an assistant creative director at Ubisoft. So we have a powerful family that collectively runs investment companies, and a man with little experience that somehow manages to have enough resources and talent to fund a near AAA quality game.
Yes, exactly.
Sandfall's 2023 accounts show a debt of $2.7 million owed to an unnamed entity, and I doubt Kepler Interactive funded them for such a big amount. Take that as you will.
Right.
So that's a lot of information that we just got.
And it's from one commenter, and who knows, but
you don't know, but it would make sense if a trust fund funded a thing like this. And if it did, it did. And that's fucking fine. Like, I think people are upset about the idea of trust funds mostly because we're all mad we don't have one. But
yes. And this myth that great art comes out of
like pain, suffering.
Great art does come out of pain and struggle and suffering. It does, full stop. But I guess I'm saying that a guy in his bedroom can't make Expedition 33. There has to be funds and money. There has to be capital,
right,
and skill and experience behind that.
A guy in his bedroom could make Stardew Valley,
and that is an extreme outlier,
right?
So
it looks like a game that someone made with small resources. No. Stardew. Like point being, you can do a lot with a little, but to some degree, your game is going to look that way. You know what I mean? Like, You can't, like, this commenter is right in saying, like, the way the game looks, it is very close to being a AAA experience, and that takes money. Like, no matter where you get it from, that does take money.
Though we are increasingly seeing with the rise of I'm not a developer, but I'm not saying this right. It's not plug and play, but I'm saying, like, you can make an Unreal Engine game in a month that looks like a AAA video game. Is it good, or does it have good mechanics, or does it have good music or good writing? That is a separate thing. But the tools, just as Eric Barone used Unity to create the pixel art game that formerly could not be created by one person alone in the Super Nintendo days, now we are entering a time where AAA looking games can be made by small teams of people. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is, like, all these terms are meaningless, and increasingly so. And if we are to go by the letter of the definition of indie, the word independent,
right?
My truly literal definition, which really doesn't apply here to this discussion, is I made a video game, or we made a video game, and no one else is publishing it. The people who made it, the people who made the code and the art, put it on Steam ourselves. We did not get marketing or budget or investment from the public, investors, Kickstarter. Kickstarter is different. I still think that could be independent. But anyway, and what I'm trying to, and so if we limit it to that, that's literally no video games, right? It's
right, exactly. Like, I'm like, oh, your definition is so different than mine, and that's interesting to me, because my definition is coming from film and music, and then it's transferred over to games over time.
But what I'll say next is that, well, let me back up. Stardew Valley was originally published by Chucklefish.
Yeah.
And then he said, this isn't working. I'm going to self-publish. So today, Stardew Valley, a multi-gajillion-dollar game, is an 100% independent game, I would argue.
Correct.
But by this very semantic definition, Expedition 33 is not, because they have a publisher, right?
Right.
So, but let's throw my very hardline definition away for a second, and then let's say, well, if it's corporate, then it's corporate, but if it's small, it's indie. Well, what's small? A $27 million budget is small? Well, in the scope of... So what I'm trying to say is, like, it's like porn. You know what an indie is when you see it. You can't describe it, but when you see it, you know when it feels indie. It's a feeling, not a quantitative thing. And thus, you cannot delineate awards based on, this feels like an indie. Megabonk was made by one guy who made other games for other studios that you'd never heard of. So for all intents and purposes, culturally speaking, this is a debut indie game from this guy, but semantically and technically it is not. And so if we're just saying, like, Columbia Records feels corporate, but Sub Pop feels indie, even though they are both corporations who signed a band to make money, all this shit, I throw all this shit in the trash. And maybe we should simply, and I don't know how this is better. It's not. Best game made for less than $10 million. Best game made for less than $50 million. And then all of it doesn't matter if the money came from your rich uncle or from Crafton, the shittiest publisher on earth. You just give you made an awesome game for this amount of money, and you made an awesome game for this amount of money. And we know that you could spend $70 million making a video game and it can suck and not win an award. And is that how we should judge art?
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, we never would judge it that way because I feel like talking about money is interesting, right? It's like, you think about the film industry, and the film industry, it will very commonly be like, well, the budget of this big budget movie is this, or, this indie movie was made and it was made on a budget of only $1 million, but in the opening weekend, it made $50 million. Right. And you're like, oh, wow. So I feel like budgets are more openly talked about in film.
Yes.
I feel like you very rarely, up until recently, heard about budgets in games, because the reason that people started openly talking about budgets in games on the business side was because games had become so expensive in the AAA space. They had ballooned,
and the ones that made headlines were being made with publicly traded companies, so we can see some of these, and you look inside, you're like, holy shit.
Exactly. Like, I think there has been a lot of discussion, hasn't there, about that GTA could be the first game to break
$1 billion budget.
$1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, there'd be no way to prove that currently. Right. But, I feel like I look at the industry and I'm like, if any game could, that makes sense.
We learned last week that it's been in development for like 12 years, 10 years or 12.
Right. And that has to cost a lot of money. So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think I can see all your points. I think for me, because I have a definition of indie from a different time period and grounded in different media types, for me, I think in my mind, and I've never really said this out loud, I don't think, or at least not recently, I kind of think of indie, corporate, and then there's kind of an indie inspired place in the middle where it's definitely not public, it's not corporate, right? Yeah. It's not, and this is another measuring stick I have too, on the stock exchange or not.
Right? A publicly traded and I think that's an important
company is
distinction.
Doing super duper different things than a private company. And it's one of the reasons why I admire private companies, because not all of them, but some of them, because there are a lot of companies that could make a shit ton of money if they went public, and they know that they also would have to give up a great deal of their decision-making if they did, and so they don't. Yeah. I can't think of one off the top of my head now, of course. Mars Wrigley. Mars Wrigley is a gigantic behemoth company that is private.
I don't even know what that is. Mars Wrigley, like the candy company?
Yeah, but they make a whole bunch of shit now. A friend of mine works for them.
Interesting.
Mars Wrigley is a confectionery subsidiary that combines Mars chocolate business with Wrigley's chewing gum. They own M&M's, Snickers, Skittles, Orbit, etc. But that's a behemoth company.
This is a great.
And they're not public.
I'm really glad you brought this example up, because it's not related to the game stuff necessarily, but the CEO of that company is a multi-millionaire many times over. Obviously. I assume that is true.
I'm assuming.
So and let's also assume that your life's work is poured into making this company, this whatever, X company, the greatest thing. It's your life's project to make a successful company. And you're already a millionaire. I cannot imagine myself as a person who is obsessed with creative control of my own work to be like, but what if I was a quadruple millionaire and threw my life's work in the shit? I can't relate to that as a concept. So when you see these companies doing all this work to go public and file the paperwork and open up their books to all this scrutiny, and then 3 years later, it's like, hey, remember when you founded this company and you're the CEO and it's your life's work? Well, fuck you. You suck at this. Goodbye. You are fired by the board and the shareholders. That is crazy to me. I don't understand a human being who would do that.
Yeah.
Now, if you are a struggling person and you are like, oh, I could sell my company tomorrow and make $1 million and walk away because it's not working. Fuck yeah. Cash that
Or
check.
it is working and you don't want to run it anymore.
And you want to be done. Yes. Right.
This recently happened and I was first surprised, then impressed. So I know that here it's very big. I don't know where else in the country it's big, but there's an ice cream line called Jeni's that's made with cream cheese. Do you guys have it there?
I love
it's
Jeni's and we
it's my
don't have
favorite
it.
ice cream.
Look,
Oh,
they
I hate
have
that.
they have like physical locations.
Oh yeah, everywhere.
We have gotten like, I don't know where, mail order.
It's in the grocery store now, though, right?
Is it really? Maybe.
Well, here it is.
I have not had Jeni's in a long time. It is the best ice cream I have ever put in my fucking mouth. Yes.
So Jeni Brittenbauer, the founder, she founded it. When I moved here, I was not an ice cream person. There was one ice cream flavor that I enjoyed growing up, and it was called Creole cream cheese. It was very, very regional to New Orleans, right? And it was made with cream cheese, hence
I didn't
the name.
know these were made with cream cheese. That's the secret. I don't even like cream cheese, but this ice cream is fucking amazing.
You do. You just don't know it.
Exactly right.
You like it in these ice creams. But yeah, a lot of ice creams are made with egg, right? Egg-based ice creams.
Okay.
And cream cheese-based ice creams have a totally different mouthfeel and texture and whatever.
Yes.
So Jeni Brittenbauer founded Jeni's. It exploded because it's incredible. She used to do all these super experimental flavors and stuff. And when I moved to Atlanta and I met Patrick, I almost said my husband, like the listeners of this podcast don't know who my husband is.
You never know who's going to be popping in here.
That's true. Okay. So my husband, for people who don't know, he was like, I got to take you to Jeni's. And I was like, oh, I'm not really an ice cream person. And he was like, you will be.
I'm sorry, but just backing up. My husband, who set up the Wi-Fi controlled lights that are on my face right now.
Yes.
That's how we have to actually refer to him.
Thank you. Yes.
Lights that don't go on unless they're connected to the internet, ladies and gentlemen.
Stupid. Oh my God. Ugh. I was going to go into a side story, but I'm not about the lights. So anyway, she has this explosive company. They have scoop shops all over Atlanta. Like when I first got here, there were only a few. Now there's like 12, more.
I'll be right over. I need more. I need Jeni's.
I know. You guys should just come to Atlanta and we could just bring you to a scoop shop. Ice cream. It's so nice. They let you try all the different ice creams. It's so great. So anyway, so she gets it in grocery stores, right? And my husband and I are like, Jeni's is in the grocery. That's awesome, right? And then maybe a year or two ago, no, not even like a year ago, I got this Facebook ad that was like, Jeni Brittenbauer is redefining the way that something about protein, a consumable protein item. And I was like, huh? And I was like, she has time to do that with Jeni's. And then I looked it up and I learned once Jeni's was multi-millions, she sold it.
She sold it. She
sold it, but it's her name. Her name's on it.
I know, right?
She founded the company. She used to make all that shit by hand.
And look, if you sell it to a trusted some partner company that's right, we will take care of your brand. We were not gonna well,
she doesn't need to be behind it reinventing it every day now. It's a trusted brand that people adore.
Yeah, but if you sell it to a company that ruins it, that's right, then your name is still on the label. So I assume
but
she
I
did.
will say this, you might know this already. So in New York, Milk Bar got really famous for cookies.
Yes.
And so when I went to New York, I had Milk Bar and I was like, wow, everything lives up to the reputation. It's incredible. Yeah. It's then they sold that concept and now you can buy Milk Bar cookies in groceries and stuff. They taste nothing like what I had in New York. Nothing. But Jeni's tastes like Jeni's, whether you buy it at the grocery store or whether you go to the scoop shop, it all tastes like Jeni's.
I now must know if we can buy it locally. I don't understand why we had it. This was years ago. It was accessed from some other, it was shipped or sent from another state, and it blew our minds, and I don't think we've had it much since. Believe me, if it was let me put it this way. We get our groceries delivered these days, so we don't step foot in many grocery stores, so I could be
What's your zip code? I'm serious.
I'm not giving my zip code on the internet. Oh my God.
Fine. Who's going to find you? Okay. So I don't know if you guys have this where you are, but Publix Supermarket carries it by me. but
Mhm.
Publix might be a Southern thing.
We don't have
Wawa
Publix here.
carries it. It says 100 grocery stores carry
I'm
it.
gonna look this up. I'm gonna look it up.
But if also CVS carries it, but if you can't
Heard of
find it
them.
in any of those places, they ship it.
I know that we have gotten it shipped. That must be it.
And I mean, it is expensive, but I remember when Patrick and I were like both like making like killer salaries, we'd be like, yeah, man, it's Friday night. Let's order
Yes.
$100 of Jeni's ice cream.
Hell
And we would.
yeah.
And then they'd deliver it and we'd be like, this is fucking living.
I think I might like do this for a birthday special
You
occasion
should.
kind of a thing.
You
Yeah.
should.
Okay.
It's so worth it. And they have some really, I'm going to send you a link so you can look. They have really cool seasonal flavors. So anyway, I'm sure everyone listening is like, we are not
We've
talking
talked about
games.
weather. We've talked about ice cream. Last item here before we get into some games is this just popped up today, and I thought you would find it very interesting. I certainly do. This is on Ars Technica, written up by my buddy Sam Axon. We used to work together, actually.
Oh, nice.
Zork 1, 2, and 3, the original text adventure that I know is very close to your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Has been made open source under an MIT license, and I don't really know what. Number one, I don't really understand what that is, and I'm about to learn. And B, Microsoft owns Zork, and I wonder, was that part of an acquisition or something? So I'm curious what this is all about here.
Well, what I'm wondering, because I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, it's really cool that it's open source, but doesn't that translate basically to that people can do whatever they want with it legally? Could I write like a book about in the Zork universe and no one would sue me?
It's not a okay. I think I might just read the article. Truly, Zork, the classic text adventure. Sorry, Sam, I am putting your article on the internet for free for all of our listeners. Zork, the classic text-based adventure game of incalculable influence, has been made available under the MIT license, along with the sequels 2 and 3. The move to take the Zork games open source comes as a result of shared work of the Xbox and Activision teams, along with Microsoft's open source programs office. So Zork must have been part of Activision, which is obviously now part of Microsoft, and I think they're going back into the catalog to, open source some of the old stuff, which is great for humanity. Okay. Parent company Microsoft owns the intellectual property of the franchise. Only the code itself has been made open source. Ancillary items like commercial packaging and marketing assets remain proprietary, as do trademarks and brands. So you cannot put Zork on a t-shirt and sell it. You cannot make another game called Zork, but you can crack the code open and look at how Zork was made under the hood, I guess. Quote, rather than creating new repositories, we're contributing directly to history in collaboration with Jason Scott, the well-known archivist, digital archivist, and internet archive fame, whom I've interviewed. So everyone in this article I've already talked to. We have officially submitted upstream pull. So basically, they're putting it on the Internet Archive. Those pull requests add a clear MIT license. And what is an MIT license? I don't know what that is. I don't think it's related to the university. What is open source license? Permissive and simple free software license. The user allows users to freely use, copy, modify, merge, publish, distribute, sublicense, and or sell copies of the software. MIT license.
So let me translate this another way.
It originates from MIT, the university in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Unlike copyleft software licenses, the MIT license allows reuse within proprietary software, provided that all copies of the software or its substantial portions include a copy of the terms of the MIT license and also copyright notice. Notable projects that use the MIT license include X Windows system, Ruby on Rails, which is a programming language, Node.js, which is a bunch of programming languages. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess this is like, it is basically, roughly, it's Creative Commons, being you can use it, you can remix it, you can look under the hood, you can extrapolate it, you can share it. I can send you a copy of Zork 1, 2, and 3 over the internet without facing a fine.
Okay.
But I cannot put the Zork logo on a box and say, here's my game, I made it.
Okay.
If that makes some sense.
I think that makes sense. I mean, I think my brain is like, so can I play Zork for free?
Definitely.
Okay.
For sure.
I mean, I think you already could.
And I'm sure you already could. I think this is formalizing its inclusion and code in the Internet Archive for posterity.
Okay. I mean, it is a legend, so I think it belongs there.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I would agree that it belongs there. Also, not to change the topic, but you were like, we have one more thing, when in fact that is not true. We have one more thing, which sounds like an Apple presentation, which is that we have to talk about vampire crawlers.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. That is the last thing.
We can't not talk about that.
I will save my Roblox screaming for another future time, because we are short on time. Thank you very much, because I had the tabs open but not the Discord open. Thank you very much.
Yes.
You discovered this, I presume, because you follow everything that Ponkle does. And listeners, you won't be able to see this on the video, and you cannot see what I'm seeing now, but Colette's username in our podcast room is Ponkle.
I was like, we're definitely talking about this
which
today,
I only noticed about 20 minutes into the show. So I was
gonna write it Poncleverse, and then I was like, nah, I gotta get in there. But yeah. So for anyone who maybe didn't hear this news, there was an announcement, I believe yesterday, that that there will be, first of all, a Poncleverse.
I coined that term, not Ponkle, him or
all
herself.
Well, that makes more sense.
Ooh, I'm making a footnote. Yeah, it does put I'm marking time so I can put a video of this in the video version. But I also think
I'm saying his name wrong. No, it's Ponkle. I'm
Ponkle, right?
GameSpot just said it in the video. So the big announcement was the Vampire Survivors world is growing with a new game called Vampire Crawlers. And the first impression of the video was like, that I had, I want to hear, Matt, how you thought. The first impression was, have I re-entered like 1989? Because you are first person perspective, quite literally looks like you're dungeon crawling. Yep. Like just like those games from that time period.
Grid-based dungeon crawling.
You are coming across familiar enemies you've seen before, like in all of Vampire Survivors, but then you also have like cards, and the cards have like Imelda, one of the playable characters, or the magic wand, and you're like, wait, so I'm taking the things that I would normally in Vampire Survivors collect as power-ups,
right,
but now they're cards, and I'm getting into fights with the same creatures,
bats, skeletons, slimes, whatever.
But you're using a series of cards instead to navigate that. And then like your locales are the locales from Vampire Survivors, but they're in 3D, and you're like, wait, what? And you're like, okay, it's not the same game. But what's really clever to me about it is there's a bunch of things that are clever about it to me. First of all, it's using the fabric of what was so addictive and popular and now has become like canon culture for gamers. Like, oh my God, the magic wand. Oh my God, the floor chicken, etc. It's embroidering with that fabric.
Yes.
With that thread, so to speak.
It's I love that phrase too. It's perfect. Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to do something that feels familiar enough that you feel fuzzy, but you're also like, oh, there's a new way for me to use the King Bible. There's a new way for me to use the fire wand. There's a new way for me to have, this fight with this particular thing. I mean, what more it will be beyond that, or what goals look like, or if there's a way for it to get like that crazy fix feeling that you get off Vampire Survivors. Like, because I don't know.
It's a completely different game. Mechanically, as far as we can see and tell, and GameSpot has a hands-on preview of it, which was very positive and very exciting, based on that reviewer anyway. Vampire Survivors and all the clones that came after it do that very specific thing, which is just like ramping up the tactile dopamine, level up, numbers go up, destroying enemies it's faster until it comes apart at the seams. And this is a dungeon crawling, roguelike card, what do you call it? Deck builder. And for audio listeners, a cat has jumped up and replaced Colette. A cat is now the co-host of this podcast with me.
This is Sophie. She has thoughts about Vampire Survivors and Vampire Crawlers.
She loved Vampire Survivors.
They comprise of me. She's just hungry. Anyway, please go on.
I think Poncleverse is a male person. I don't know.
Luca Galante is his real name. Okay. He is a male person of Italian persuasion, apparently.
Yes. Portrayed in No Clips video as like a puppet.
He's never shown his face.
He's never shown his face, I don't believe.
Love that.
He could have just made another game. He could have made a dungeon crawling roguelike deck building game, and we all would have loved it, assuming it's good. But to your point, it like takes place in the same universe, with the same characters and locations and art and whatever as this original game that has nothing to do. Mechanically has nothing. They have nothing to do with each other except for the vibes and the art, right?
Actually, wait, just pause that thought one moment, because I just want to inject something about Luca Galante that I didn't know until just now when I Googled it. Yes. I'm reading this from The Guardian. Mm-hmm. After years spent pursuing a career in game development, Italian coder Luca Galante had given up. Uprooting himself from a comfortable life in Rome, he flew to England in the hope of finally making his childhood dream a reality. Yet after countless rejected job applications, Galante found himself flipping Big Macs in Thornton Heath McDonald's. Dejected, he gave up on his digital dream, leaving what might be the worst McDonald's in the UK to code slot machines for a gambling company. Wow. Now, 10 years and one bedroom made game later, he is the proud owner of 2 BAFTA awards. Now that's indie.
You know it when you see it. And that is the most indie-ass fucking thing ever. And that rules. And
had to inject it when I saw it. I was I didn't know that about him. I did not know that.
It is very hard to... I'm not really saying this. Everyone needs to find their own path. And obviously, we live in a capitalist system that requires you to work and pay rent. But fuck working for other people and go make the thing that you... Go do the job and make the thing you wish your job could be. And it may not become your real life job, but it could. It could.
But if it doesn't, at least you get the pleasure of doing a thing you enjoy, and you can look back on and be like, I did that. And if people, ask you like, oh, what do you like to do? You're not going to be like, I like to day job. Most people won't say that. But maybe you'll get to say, hey, my creative project that I love is this. I mean, I thought that about this very podcast. Like, it's not like we're, going to ever ball in money for making a podcast about video games, but I love it. And I get to be a part of the cultural discourse about games and have conversations that, have been interesting for hundreds of episodes. So like, now, I mean, is it the dream to, make it with your creative thing? I think it's double-edged sword,
It
right?
is. It
Because
really is. Yeah.
on one end, you're like, oh my God, I made it. But on the other hand, it's like you have to keep doing new things. Now, in this situation, it's like, well, it looks like what he's doing is pretty fun. But I do think that there's a certain level of pressure that some creators will speak about it and some don't publicly
Could you
speak about it.
imagine having a game so popular and then the world waiting for your next game, and the expectation of that is panic attack inducing, and there are many
Yeah,
stories of creative people suffering from that, and I get
absolutely.
that. Um,
Absolutely.
and I also just want to tack on that, like, go in addition to go and make your thing, that thing probably won't succeed, and the next one, then you got to make the next one, and that probably won't succeed, and then make 2 more, and then make 5 more, and as we learned from Poncle, like, after the 10th thing and coding slot machines, only then do you really make the thing that hits at the right moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, that has been, I'm not world famous anything, but that's as a creative person, the hardest thing I've had to learn is, like, the thing you want to succeed so badly may not work, but you have to do it again, because then what you learned from the previous thing will inform the next thing that actually is
Yeah.
successful. And then, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. Most definitely.
kudos. This GameSpot preview is really great, and the reviewer is basically like, I didn't know what to expect, but it's different than
Mm-hmm.
Vampire Survivors, obviously, but it still has the same addictive loops. They're not mechanically the same, but it is. She is saying that, like, oh yes, I want to play more of this. This is going to be this is good so far. So. Yeah, and I don't know, roguelike deck builders, they're a dime a dozen. So we'll
They
see if
are.
this can differentiate itself. I think it already has aesthetically and
Mm-hmm.
vibes wise, but yeah. There's no release date on this. It's just like a
I think you just
trailer,
said
basically.
2026 at
Mm-hmm.
some point, and all the footage is marked like alpha in
Alpha.
development. So things could change,
Yeah.
which is fine. But I think, yeah, it's cool to see something that feels both familiar and new and really inspired.
Yeah.
It feels pretty inspired to me. It doesn't feel to me like he's just dialing it in.
No.
They have really nurtured this game ever since it exploded. Like, I don't know if you played the or looked at the Balatro stuff.
No, I haven't.
I just got it, and I was just like, this
Yeah.
is such a wild, like, collab, but it's like, it's also like just so interesting that that's what, like, they've just kept doing things, and it's like,
And I'm glad you brought that up, because they could have so easily just cranked out DLC forever and made plenty of money, but in addition to doing that, there's a new game that is mechanically and structurally different, and that is awesome. That is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. So
All right.
we'll be watching for it.
We're an hour and 10 in. I mean, unless it's a packed show. Were there specific games that you wanted to check in on, or shall we reconvene next week?
I've really only got about 10 minutes to talk about what I'm doing. So, I mean,
There
if
you
you
go.
want to talk about Arc, you certainly can, because I don't think anything I would have to say would be wildly new.
About Silent Hill and revisiting Silent Hill 2.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and about that other game, which I did say I was going to say something about.
Yes, go on.
Okay. So last week, or no, actually it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh, there
I
was
think.
another one. Yeah. I want to hear about that.
Yeah. So there was a game that had come across my proverbial desk that I was interested in playing. I feel like it was suggested in my Steam or something. But anyway, it's called, let me make sure I get the name right. It's a Stardew-like, basically. But the concept is that it's instead you are farming, you are raising livestock, you're doing all the things that you know to do. But the village is starving to death.
Yeah, yeah.
And instead of you selling your produce, you are trying to fill like a root cellar to keep people alive. Okay, Grimshire it's called.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
We talked about this offline multiple times, but we never covered it. So I'm glad you're talking about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and the other thing is everyone there's so many like it's this, but it's also this, and they're opposites. Yeah. Like it's Stardew, it's charming, but you're starving. And everyone is starving and people die. So it's like a survival game mashed together with Stardew. And it's so interesting because it's like the chillest thing and the least chill thing like smashed together. But I was kind of fascinated. There is a free demo and I played it and I was kind of fascinated because I was like, that's just such a wild smush together. And then also it has overwhelmingly positive reviews. Mm-hmm. And people are just like, I've played so many Stardew, like ripoffs, and clones, this one just stuck with me. The writing's just so good. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So played the demo, liked the loop. It's familiar, of course. Was like, okay, gonna put it on the Steam Deck. Runs great on the Steam Deck. It's, that kind of game. And so I think let's see how many hours I put into it. I put 10 hours of play into it. So I was like,
this is just the demo?
Or no, the demo was about 3 hours. And then after I played the 3 hours available in the demo, I bought it. So 13 total.
Okay.
So without spoiling, I'll say that you arrive in this place and pretty quickly something catastrophic happens. And you're like, oh, okay, well, we're not going to get food from the mainland anymore. So farmer, we're relying on you, as if no one else could fish, plant crops. Like it's all me. That's it.
Aren't you all animals, or am I thinking of something else?
Okay, you're all animals.
Okay. No human characters.
Everybody's animals. I was a bunny. I chose to be a bunny.
Yes. Okay. This sense.
So you're super cute, and the animals are all super cute. But once again, you're starving. So conflicting concepts. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I feel challenged. I'm gonna grow some shit. So you start growing shit. You have some mechanics that and then some new ones like you have a smoker. You can smoke. Actually, that's in Stardew too. I think you can smoke things. You can dehydrate things.
That you don't eat. You don't. There's no meat consumption. Oh yeah. But there's no animal products no meat in Stardew.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm like growing stuff, I'm foraging, I'm doing all these things, and I'm going to the root cellar every day and I'm putting my stuff in. And you're also supposed to be having relationships with people, talking to people, improving, your connections with them. You can give people all that stuff. And I'm like, Patrick was watching me play and he's like, who the fuck has time to think about gifts when you're trying to figure out how not to starve?
Yeah.
And I was like, very good point. It kind of puts a damper on the whole gift thing.
Uh-huh.
And it's funny too, because the music, like when you're farming, the music is very like, it's very chill. And then you get an event and you always have to go down to the dock for an event. And then the music is like, dun, dun, dun. And you're like, wow, like the dichotomy, it's just so different. And so I would say probably about every week to 2 weeks, something gets worse. So you're like, all right, I think I've got a handle on this, man. I'm packing food in that root cellar. And then some in-game event happens and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to find a way to adjust to that. I'm just going to fish more and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to, and you're trying to juggle all your shit. And then like there's a mine and you got to go to the mine.
Okay.
I will hand to them that because you could make money from selling your crops, but you don't because you need it for people to survive, to eat. You can find things in the mines you can sell, and those things make more money. So that's how they balance that part out. Because in Stardew, you don't really make money from stuff you find in the mines very often.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, all right.
Remind me the name of the game. I want to make a note of it here.
Grimshire.
Grimshire. Like crypt? No.
Grimshire.
Is it one word?
Yeah. So things keep happening. I'm like, it gets a little worse. And like, so I'm playing and like every time something gets worse, I'm like, Patrick, they just did fill in the blank. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And I'm like, these motherfuckers. And I'm just like getting angrier and angrier. Like every time something gets harder, I'm just like, that is fucked up. That is bullshit. We're already dealing with this, and this. And now they want us to deal with this. And he was like, what a relaxing game. And I'm like, I know. So then finally, after my 13 hours of play, I hit the fish is not enough anymore. Now you have to start raising animals and killing them for meat.
And you, okay.
And I was like, dog, I'm out.
If you are an animal, what animals are you raising? Are you a bunny raising other bunnies? Or like,
you are raising animals that they invented for the game. So there are 4 breeds of animals. One's kind of like a little chicken, but it has a different name.
I see.
One's called like a blurgle or something like that. But like you raise them, you nurture them, you pet them, they give you little hearts, and then you murder them.
That is how farming works in the real world as well.
I know. And that's what also made me laugh, because I was like thinking to myself, this is how you yourself as a human being survive.
Yes.
But you don't want to play a simulator of yourself killing the actual animals.
Yes. I mean,
and I was like, no, I have to stay disconnected from that because I clearly can't take it. So
what does the slaughtering mechanically and graphically speaking, when it comes time to slaughter the animal, what did you do that or no? You just bailed out?
I peaced out. I was like, no, I don't want to kill these animals. They're so cute. They're so cute. Like they're like even cuter than like typical cute animals. Right. Like one of them looks kind of like a oh my God, I can't think of it, but it's like some fantasy breed. But they look like Pokemon. They're like little Pokemon.
Yeah. Sure.
And you got to kill them. And there's like a bloody table that you have to like put up next to your. And I was just like, I'm out. I'm out, man. And I was like, okay, yeah, I just can't. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a new replay of Stardew Valley.
Do you get a sense from playing and or reviews or other understanding of the game? By the way, this is made by Acute Owl Studio and published by Acute Owl Studio, which means it's an indie.
It's an indie.
Is this like a thing where it's like you got to stay alive as long as possible, but there's no hope? Or can you overcome the plagues and
I would have to hang in
disasters
long enough for that. Now, I mean, I guess if I read enough of actually, I was going to say if I read enough of the reviews, I might find out. But it's also an early access, so you can only play the first year.
I see it. Oh, okay.
So after you get to the end of winter, that is the end of early access. So according to them on their page, they have a roadmap that says that they will add relationships. Let's see, where is it? There's a roadmap here somewhere.
I can't tell if I like the art style. Like I can't.
Yeah, I felt mixed about it too. Like when I was actually playing it, I was like, it's okay. It's not like amazing. It's okay.
It aspires to be charming, but it's not hitting the mark for me in the way that Stardew has such a charming style, art style, pixel art style.
Well, it was funny because then I did really fire up Stardew, and then I was just like, I appreciated it all over again, which I've been doing for years. Yep. But I was just like, I feel like if I'm gonna play a grim, like people are dying and you have to save them, or if I'm gonna play a cozy, happy game that lets me escape from the world, I want one or the other. And I admire the fact that they were like, we're going to try to put both in one place. But I didn't want that when it came to like, now you have to kill these cute animals that you nurtured and raised. Because when you start the animal husbandry stuff, they're like, you really want to make sure that you're giving love to your animals and kind of fattening them up before you slaughter them. And I was like, I don't wanna.
I don't think this game is for me either, but I really appreciate the big swing.
It's a big
on
swing.
this. The
It's a big
logo
swing.
is a cute bunny in overalls with the logo says Grimshire, but there's a bloody paw in the center of the logo.
Yeah.
And I just think I respect it. I
I
really
can't be
respect
like, this is a bad game. Like,
it.
this is a wildly unusual thing they decided to do, and I am just too fucking soft to kill my own animals. Period. I am. I just am. Like, I'm like, no, I can't do it. But a lot of other people clearly didn't mind, because if you read,
overwhelmingly positive. Early access is going well. It came out in July, so it's not
right.
brand spanking new, but it seems like it's going along very, very well.
Right. Like, yeah, like lots of stuff in the reviews about like, this is my favorite farming simulator I've ever played. Sitting it between two genres that seem to veer into wish fulfillment. Truly challenging, makes you really care about the farming instead of just feeling like you're selling it for money or whatever. And I was like, and those things are all technically true about it. So I really can't diss it. All I can say is that I had to peace out at a point at which it could not. But I wanted to talk about it because there was so much to talk about.
I'm really glad that you covered it here. It's hey man, I love that these games exist and the true indies.
It does make me wonder though, like after you start slaughtering your animals, it's like, what the fuck happens after that? Are they like, there was a hailstorm and like, it's like, I mean, I am not kidding when I say like the fucking lake got poisoned, the Capitol got burned down, like so many things happen, and you're literally like, are you fucking really kidding me? Like every week they're like, some new thing has happened. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they're like, well, this week we didn't have enough food, and so the cute bunny, the baker bunny, starved to death, and we're going to eat her corpse, so we need you to cut that up.
I mean, like, this is we're getting into RimWorld territory, but the beauty of RimWorld is that it's like a very deep simulation. So it's not like, oh yeah, I'm 3 hours in and then this happens. It's like, no, everything that happens in the playthrough and every character and every trait and every wound and every, seed is part of the emergent, thing that happens. Yeah. But the way you're talking about it of like, we barely got the colony together and we're almost on the plus side with food. And then, someone opened up the wall and like an ancient poison seeped through and oh, fuck, we're totally screwed. Everyone's dying. Grimshire. Love it.
Yeah. Grimshire. So anyway, I stopped playing it, and then I was like, what else am I going to play? What do I want to go to next? And I decided that since I just did all this time in Silent Hill F, which I really enjoyed, that maybe it was a good time for me to pick Silent Hill 2 Remake back up, because I wandered away.
Yeah, you stopped in the middle.
Yeah, and also, fun side note, I got food poisoning a few days ago, and luckily it only lasted one day, but I did spend that day in bed because I needed to be near a bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I was like, where should I play this? And my PlayStation 5 is upstairs in my bedroom.
Nice.
We don't have a TV down here in the living room. We need to get it mounted. It's a long story because of the fireplace. Oh, right. So anyway, I was like, well, I'm in the bedroom, like I'll pick it back up. And so I did pick it back up. And it's weird. Like, I wish I had finished it all in one go in a way, but in another way, it's cool to come back to it after playing a brand new Silent Hill game that I feel like really nailed it. Mm-hmm. I said in the Discord, I think yesterday or the day before, that I think that, that Silent Hill F actually has the most interesting and well-developed protagonist of all of the Silent Hill games, including that James tracks. Sunderland.
Yeah. I remember you said that.
And no one fought me, and I was like, I'm kind of surprised no one fought me, but no one fought me, and I was just like,
to play both to speak to that. So
Well, and also, like, even though Remake was just made, you're talking about the original game coming from a time period where character development was real different. Yeah, I mean, like Final Fantasy VII was the deepest shit anyone had ever seen at that time, right? It was so deep. It's still deep, but like, I think we're talking about some different kind of storytelling capabilities.
Claire obscure deep, let's say. So
no. So, but yeah, it's been fun to go back to that. And it's also kind of interestingly comforting because I already know it's going to happen, like I don't have to be like, "Oh, I'm paying attention in that way that you do when you don't know what the
Yes.
story is going to be."
Yeah.
I know exactly what's going to go on, and it also is a really interesting reminder about how since Silent Hill 2 remake got made, the folks behind Silent Hill, they were like, we want these monsters to actually kick your ass. Like in the old games, they were like, they were there and you fought with
Okay.
them, but it wasn't like, it was more like they were scary looking.
Yeah. Okay.
But like a mannequin like jumped on me and like straddled my neck like really aggressively when I was playing last night. And I was like, forgot how aggressive everything got.
Nice. I didn't realize that they updated the mechanics that much. Which is cool.
And F was similar. Like there were some very aggressive creatures in F, and I was like, that's kind of cool, and it makes sense because I think in the 90s it wasn't as weird to have like enemies that weren't quite as on you. You know what I mean? But in a game today, I try to imagine like a game in 2025 where your enemies are just kind of there. And I'm like, no, that's not very engaging.
No, and this is the evolution of the form, of the mechanical form. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Love it.
Yeah, probably go back to more Silent Hill tonight.
Yeah, it's Friday. By the time you're listening to it, it may be Saturday. We'll see when we get this up, but. That is our time. That is our show. Thanks for hanging out with us another week. We will take. I keep forgetting that next week is Thanksgiving, but now that I'm thinking of it, right? It snuck up on you too.
Yeah.
So we will take that week off because we'll be moving around and eating turkey and such. So if you observe Thanksgiving in the United States or what's left of the United States, then we wish you happy stuffing and cranberry. To one and all.
Eat well. I always thought of Thanksgiving as a day to eat the meal with the family and then leave the room and go play video games. So I will do the same, except, I'll go to someone else's house to do the eating and then I'll come back and play more video games.
All right. Yeah. I think that will be my plan as well. We'll see. If
Actually,
I can,
Discord listeners and people who aren't in the Discord, you should join. What are you playing for Thanksgiving? I would like to know that.
Let us know. Thank you very much. All right. Hop in there. Let us know what you'll be playing over the holiday break. And please remember to be kind and rewind your podcast after listening. And we will talk with you in 1 week's time.
Bye-bye.